Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa, 914 Westchester County, New York. We are in the house. We are in the house. We're still in South Carolina. We're in the house. My focus this month is to get up all the money I can to travel to New York next month. Shout out to the chat. But yeah, as you can see, the title of this video is called Family Tree or Family Curse. In my case, it might be a mixture of both. Family, you can't pick your family. You can't pick or choose your family members. You can pick your friends, you can pick your associates, you can pick who your co-workers are because you sign up to work at different establishments for employment. Or you can do like some people do, stay at home and collect Social Security check once a month. It is what it is. 914 Westchester County, New York. We are going to talk about family relations. Is your family, or is it a family curse? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. A lot of you know that I was adopted when I was a child. I carried the last name Smith from the day I was born till I was almost 10 years old. I stepped into a family courthouse room in White Plains, New York, because the family I was living with wanted to adopt me and my brother, my sibling. Me and my brother, we grew up together. We know we got the same parents. We know we got the same grandparents. We know we got the same great grandparents, and so forth and so forth. My grandmother, her maiden name was Barbosa. When she married my grandfather, his last name was Smith. Shout out to the chat. My grandmother was born in New York. Her mother was born in New York. Her mother was born in New York. So it's 5 generations of New Yorkers in my family. Me and my brother, we're another generation. My father, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, her mother. My grandmother was supposed to have married. She was arranged to marry another Cape Verdean American. She was not supposed to marry Grandpa Smith. Grandpa Smith, he met my grandmother when they were very young. They were teenagers. They grew up together. She liked him. She fell in love with him. Started having sexual relations with him. That's how she got pregnant with my father. My father was born in 1946. February of 1946. He died in 2009. He died when I was 36 years old. I met him when I was 30. And in my meeting him, he was telling me about the family history. And I told him my grandmother confirmed that she was not supposed to have married that other dude. She was not supposed to have married Smith, Grandpa Smith. She was supposed to have married another Cape Verdean American. Grandpa Smith, he was a tall, light-skinned dude. He stood at 6'3". I don't know how much he weighed. I've seen pictures of him. Light skin, freckles, fire red hair. Man was as mean as a motherfucking rattlesnake. He and his side of his family, they come from Roxborough, North Carolina. My grandfather's grandmother was a slave. She was half white, half black. She's what you would call a house servant, a house nigger. Shout out to the chat. And I keep wondering to myself, why did my grandmother disobey the command that she was given to marry someone else instead of marrying this dude from North Carolina? She was not supposed to marry him. She did. And result, she had my father, she had my aunts, my uncle. All of them are deceased except for one aunt. One aunt is still living. She looks like my grandfather. They call her Bert. I used to have another aunt. They called her Ernie. Aunt Ernie died in 2018. She died in 2018. I remember that particular day because that was the same day I went to the fucking emergency room because a fight ensued on the streets. And when I woke up in the hospital, I could not recognize my own face. A catheter tube was inserted in my pussy hole. And I don't know why, but they had my hands tied to some kind of device in the room. I woke up. I was not in bed. I was released from the hospital 3 days later. The swelling had went down. I kept, getting ice, putting it on my eyes were bloodshot red. My homegirl KK, she gave me a pair of sunglasses. I wore them sunglasses for a whole fucking month because the glare from the sun or from the street lights would bother my eyes. But I'm saying all that to say, is family really cracked up to this and that? Is it? That's my question. It's always been my question ever since I was a youngster growing up. Because I always remember how I felt about my circumstances. Now, I could have been just like everybody else. I could have went through my childhood with no kind of trauma. But I've suffered traumas, different sorts of trauma. I don't care if I'm seeing 3 therapists. I don't care if I'm taking 1 million antidepressant pills or mood stabilizers. That's not going to stop the childhood trauma. It's not going to stop the memories. It's not going to stop the pain. It's going to continue. So that's what this video is about. Family tree or family curse. Some people say it's just family tree. It's family drama. Family politics. Me, I was just raised without my biological family members being around me. And like I said before, when I met my parents, my mother told me all the family surnames that I'm related to. My grandmother told me, my father told me. And the Smiths and the Barbosas, they're like this. That is the tightest run knit family in New Rochelle, New York. A lot of them live in New Rochelle. Some live in Yonkers. Some live in Mount Vernon. Some live in Portchester. Some live in the Bronx, the South Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. My family is spread out. We're in New York, we're in New Jersey, we're in Connecticut, we're in Massachusetts, we're in Rhode Island, we're in California, and a lot of my close relatives are in Cape Verde. A lot of you don't know what Cape Verde is. Cape Verde is 10 little islands located in Northwest Africa. So I know which part of Africa my people come from. I don't claim no other part of Africa. No other part. I don't claim South Africa. I don't claim Nigeria. I don't claim none of that. My great-grandfather came to this country years ago on a ship. He couldn't travel from Cape Verde, so he had to go to Portugal. Because my great-grandfather was a mulatto. His mama was black. His father was white. His father was a Portuguese man. Shout out to the chat. My great-grandfather came to this country. He married his wife, which is my great-grandmother, Bertha Barbosa. Barbosa married her. Dark-skinned lady, pretty lady. Mohawk Native American. Shout out to the chat. My great-grandmother died at the age of 52. She died in 1949. So there's a lot about her family I don't know. The only thing I know is her name and what her mother's name was. And then, of course, I know who my grandfather is, who his people are, where they come from. But my father was always keen to tell me, do not claim anything that you are related to from the South. Don't claim them. But how can I not? Because I'm related to the Greens. I'm related to the Smiths. I'm related to the Coopers. I'm related to the Robinsons and the Grants. I'm related to the Barbosas, the Textors, the Sanchez, the Rodriguez. My blood is everywhere. And it's on these YouTube streets. I'm just coming to realization that there are some people on this app, might be a distant relative. I have no idea unless I pick up the phone and call New York. See, I can do that. I can pick up the phone and call New York. New York will tell me. So shout out to the chat. I'm not going to be up here that long. I just want to come up real quick, tell everyone good morning. It's going to be a long day. I got to get out of here early. I have to go to work tonight. I have to go to work for the rest of the week in order to make my quota for my trip to New York. Shout out to New York. I will be there soon. Shout out to my YouTube creators, my subscribers, my chat members, the ones that write in my comment section, my ghost watchers, and my haters. Shout out to you because you make this channel possible. Peace, y'all. One.